So, you're thinking about a job in Dubai, huh? You've probably seen those offers floating around for about 2,000 dirhams a month. On paper, it sounds like a start, but what does that number actually mean for your life there? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and get real about the AED 2000 salary. Let's dive in. Okay, so picture this. The job offer lands in your inbox. You're excited, of course. But let's be real, there's a little bit of anxiety mixed in there too, right? You're staring at that number and you're asking yourself, is this my golden ticket to a new life? Or am I walking into a financial trap? Believe me, this is the number one question on pretty much every newcomer's mind. All right, let's just cut to the chase. If you're dreaming of a comfortable life, the simple, blunt answer is no, it's not enough. But wait, don't click away just yet. The real story, the why behind that big no, is what you truly need to understand. Knowing the full picture is absolutely crucial for making the right call for your future. So that leads to a pretty obvious question, right? If it's not really enough to live on, why in the world do you see this number everywhere? Let's break down exactly why these offers are so common in the job market. You know, there's a real psychology to it. This salary is typically for entry-level jobs, and a lot of the time it's packaged with promises like free accommodation or food included. The real kicker, though, is when you convert 2,000 dirhams into your currency back home, it can look like a small fortune. But that simple calculation is a trap, because it completely ignores how expensive Dubai actually is. These offers really thrive on that information gap. Okay, enough with the theory. Let's get our hands dirty with the hard numbers. This is where the fantasy meets reality and where that AED 2000 salary really starts to shrink. We're going to build a bare-bones minimum survival budget, piece by piece. First things first, a roof over your head. Now, for 500 dirhams a month, let me be crystal clear. You're not getting a private room. You're not even close. We are talking about a bed space. That means you are renting one single bed in a room that you're sharing with several other people. Or you might be in a labor camp. Next up, food. To keep your food bill at 400 dirhams, you have to cook every single meal yourself. Eating out, grabbing a quick bite from a cafeteria, that's a luxury you simply cannot afford on this budget. This is for basic groceries, and that's it. Getting around a city like Dubai is going to set you back about 200 dirhams a month, and that's only if you stick to the metro or public buses. Taxis, yeah, they are completely out of the question. This budget also assumes your company isn't giving you a ride, which many of them don't. Staying connected isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline, especially when you're far from home. For 75 dirhams, you can get a very basic mobile plan. We're talking just enough for essential calls and a tiny bit of data to message your family. It is the absolute bare minimum. And this is the part that trips everyone up. Things like soap, toothpaste, a haircut, maybe a new pair of shoes when yours wear out, or, God forbid, you get sick and need medicine, all of that has to come from this tiny 150 dirham fund. There's absolutely zero margin for error here. Zero. So let's put it all together. Your total rock-bottom survival expenses come out to 1,325 dirhams. That leaves you with just 675 dirhams at the end of the month. And this right here is the heart of the problem. That leftover money is supposed to cover everything else in your life. Your savings, sending money home to support your family, having any kind of social life at all. As you can see, the math just doesn't work. It's not possible. But look, the financial squeeze is only half the battle. The numbers on a spreadsheet don't tell you about the hidden risks, the things the recruiter conveniently leaves out. Let's talk about the serious, real-world problems that come with these jobs. And these aren't just possibilities. For many people, this is their daily reality. We're talking about living in overcrowded rooms, working 10 or 12-hour days with no pay for overtime, and sometimes not even getting your salary on time. Add to that the constant noise making it hard to sleep, the stress of a sketchy visa situation. It's a recipe for burnout. And the worst part? You feel trapped with very few options to find a better job. All of this brings us to a really important idea. It's a distinction you absolutely have to grasp before you sign on that dotted line. There is a massive difference between a salary that is legal and a salary that is livable. So here's the bottom line. Can a company legally offer you AED 2000? Yes. The UAE doesn't have a national minimum wage law, so it all comes down to the contract you sign. But then you look at the other side of the coin. Is it livable? No way. It doesn't allow for savings, for growth, for a decent lifestyle. It's enough to survive, but it doesn't give you dignity or a real future. I want you to really let this sink in.
Just because something is legal doesn't make it livable. Legal doesn't mean it's fair, and it definitely doesn't mean it's going to help you build the future you're dreaming of.
Okay, so you've got all this information now. How do you actually use it to make a smart decision? Let's build a really simple, practical checklist you can use to evaluate any offer that comes your way. Look, you should only even think about saying yes to an offer this slow under a few very specific, non-negotiable conditions. If you are absolutely desperate to get your foot in the door in the UAE, and if the employer is covering all of your major expenses, I mean 100% free accommodation, food, and transport, and you have a solid legal contract with a clear path to move up, well, it might be worth considering. But that's a lot of ifs. Now, on the other hand, these are the absolute deal breakers. If you have to pay for your own rent or food out of that salary, you have to reject it. If you have a family back home depending on you to send money, reject it. If there's no written contract, no medical insurance, you run. The financial risk is just way too high. So instead of settling for a survival mode job, let's flip the script. Let's talk about how to aim higher from the very beginning. There are smarter ways to build a real, sustainable career in Dubai.
So what's the magic number? What should your target be? Well, based on how things are right now, you should see anything below 3,000 dirhams as a major risk. For a single person to have a decent lifestyle where you can actually save a little and enjoy life, you should be aiming for a salary somewhere between 3,500 and 5,000 dirhams. That's your target zone.
So how do you get a job in that range? Here's your 4-step action plan. Step 1, upgrade your skills. Seriously, something as simple as a driving license, an IT certificate, or learning a new language can open up so many better paying doors. Step 2, be strategic. Only apply for jobs that pay over 3,000 in the first place. Step 3, if you can, come to the UAE and attend walk-in interviews. It makes a huge difference. And step 4, and this is critical, never ever pay an agent a fee for a job. It is almost always a scam.
At the end of the day, it really boils down to this. An AED 2,000 salary is a ticket to survival, not stability. It's about existing, not actually living. And your dreams, your hard work, your career, they deserve so much more than just the bare minimum.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Instead of just focusing on any job you can get right now, think about the job you truly want. What is the one skill you can start working on today that will help you land a salary that lets you thrive, not just survive? Your journey to a better future really does start with that answer.